The following is a real conversation with the average Pokemon VGC player. An IQ above room temperature is advised. So recently I did a video breaking this down. Someone said VGC prizing should be improved. My take was absolutely not. The competitive Pokemon community and just the Pokemon community in general has done nothing to deserve any prizes for Pokemon VGC, let alone an increase in the prizes. Too much toxicity, too many cheaters, too much corruption. But then we got this response. Okay, Verlis, what's actually wrong with cheating here? What is wrong with cheating? And I guess that's my first mistake. My first mistake is thinking that someone this stupid can be reasoned with. That like, okay, maybe if I just explain the rules and I explain how cheating is, like, it's one of those things, like, it's just so fundamental that cheating is wrong, that if someone doesn't understand that, they're already beyond saving because they got to that point to begin with. And no amount of logic, reasoning, common sense, facts will do anything to change that. But again, this is most of the Pokemon VGC community at this point. Their entitlement has transcended reality, and it's just insane. It saves time. That is not an allowance for cheating. Me robbing someone saves time because it means I don't have to go to work to pay the bills anymore. I just steal it from other people. Let's people get into the ladder and play. But I mean, if they have to cheat to play, they don't deserve to play to begin with, and no one's forcing them to play, so it's not like they're being enslaved to play 100 hours of the game to then get onto the ladder. Like, it's all opt-in. That makes it even more unacceptable to cheat, even though it's already as unacceptable as it gets. What's the difference between that and using Showdown? And then, like, this is, again, these people are so stupid that they debunk themselves, but they don't understand. You just admitted the advantage. It saves time. If you have more experience over another person, you have an objective advantage over that person. There is no weaseling out of it. There is no getting around that fact that if I have 100 hours of practice and my opponent has 10 hours of practice, I'm going to have an advantage over them just through sheer experience. Showdown has no impact on that, since it still takes dozens to hundreds of hours to get the Pokemon in-game, and that is also a fact. It takes over 20 hours to beat the game in most cases, especially like getting into the post-game and doing that. You also have to play for dozens of hours with like the big gimmick. Dynamax, Terra Raids, just the harder farming methods and like getting EVs and breeding inside of Pokemon X and Y or Generation 6 and Generation 7, the gameplay has changed, but it's not just, oh, it only takes 10 minutes, so it doesn't matter if we cheat. But then we'll kind of get into that later, where it's like, oh, just pure hypocrisy. These brats just want to cheat, and then they can't admit that cheating is wrong, or else they lose their entire argument. So yeah, it still takes all that time. You can't just like have 6 Pokemon and then be done for the season. So you still have to make more Pokemon on top of that. And again, by the time you get into it, it's like, yes, it's over 100 hours to be competitive minimum in any Pokemon game, or even like just a year of competitive play. Showdown does exactly that. What? Like, wait, what do I not know about Pokemon Showdown? Have I been wrong for the last decade that if I actually play Pokemon Showdown, I get like in-game credits for like Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, and then that just like spits out competitive Pokemon? Is that a feature I missed? What? Like that's the only thing I can explain. It's like, wait, my time in Pokemon Showdown gets me in-game Pokemon Scarlet and Violet Pokemon that I can use on the ladder without any modification. That's an official thing. Again, like, just, you have, like, the cognitive dissonance is either these people have to become idiots or they just tear themselves apart mentally. The mental gymnastics is platinum tier. Instead of grinding out hundreds of hours for new... So again, admitting, it takes hundreds of hours, even with the new, faster mechanics. Like, that's another weird thing that gets broken down in these other conversations as well. That people are trying to tear me down saying, Verlisify is wrong, VGC is doing better than ever, and we're getting more participation than ever. Even though if you actually like try to play the ladder, less people are playing Pokemon, okay? So we have like 100 more people entering in a large metro area for a game that sold 5 million more copies, and that means VGC is like exploding and growing more than ever. But then you actually get into it and people are saying, oh yeah, what's keeping VGC from growing is whatever, or the reason why there is low participation is because of whatever. So it's just like nonstop hypocrisy and contradiction that's mind-blowing. So okay, yeah, grinding out hundreds of hours. You just admit it, that like the person that cheats, even if they're doing Pokemon Showdown, now has hundreds of hours of advantage in the game against the legitimate player. You just genned it into a sim to skip the process. You skip hundreds of hours. How is skipping hundreds of hours not going to create an advantage anywhere? Why is genning legal Pokemon to use on the ladder any different? There's no such thing as a legal hack. And I keep saying this, and like it blows, like I wish that these people weren't so stupid, because I want to know the reasoning. I want to know how you get to the point where you think hacking the game, violating all the rules, not even just like the straight up rules right here that I guess only I have ever read in Pokemon, but the terms of service of Pokemon as well, and Nintendo, and the console, and the game, just every fundamental thing is being violated by hacking, and somehow they have convinced themselves there is a legal result. Again, it's all lying. It's all lying to themselves, because if at any point it breaks, well then you lose everything. The entire argument's gone. How do you legally break the rules? And that's what I say, like you're admitting that you're skipping hundreds of hours of work. That's an advantage. You can't lose, like you can't have that advantage be offset by any amount of showdown, because the work needs to eventually be done in game. There's also no such thing as legal gen Pokemon. Like how do you have a legal hack? How do you legally hack and break the rules or something? Legal as in nothing's fake, but that's not what legal is. We have the rules. The use of external devices, such as a mobile app, to modify or create items even, or Pokemon in a player's battle team. Like people are like, oh, I only hack Master Balls, like, oh, I only hack in the vitamins, or oh, I only hack in whatever. It's like, no, actually, if like you use a Master Ball, like a hacked ball to catch the Pokemon is not legal. If you use the hacked vitamins or mints or bottle caps, the Pokemon is not legal, etc. And it just kind of goes on. Or if you just modify the Pokemon, any Pokemon modification is forbidden. There is no such thing as a legal statted modded Pokemon, and that's like where you get into all these weasel words and stuff, and it's gotten like crazy where people even call it like legit, or they're saying like instead like they've split it that all genning is hacking, but they're trying to make it like, oh, there's hacked Pokemon, there's gen Pokemon. No, it's all hacking. It's all against the rules. And no matter how much you explain to these people, they are too stupid to get anything coherent across. That's what I mean. I wish it was possible to communicate with these creatures, but you just can't. Everything could have been gotten legitimately. And then again, also like trying to mix up the words to where it used to be like illegal, legal, legit. I guess I can find like the dumbest shit ever. Let me do that. This thing, the biggest lie ever told in Pokemon. Also, there was like that video that kept popping up on like recommended or sidebar or something that had like the 3 drift blooms that was like X, hacked, checkmark, legal, checkmark, legit. And then people just kind of went with that. Again, like someone just came up with a great lie, and then all the idiots clung to that because they thought they had like the big brain solution to everything. But no, it's like, yeah, you don't have this. Being able to naturally exist in the game, given the right circumstances and feasibility of the circumstances irrelevant? No. And then again, like this, where are the rules? Where are the rules in this? Because it's actually from like Pokemon tournament officials. We're just like, no, if the Pokemon's modified, done, GG, easy. And they even have the solution right here. Created only using in-game methods without taking shortcuts. That is the only way a Pokemon is legal, not even legit. Like legal and legit are the same thing. Again, kind of like how they're trying to do the weird thing with like hacking and genning, towards like genning's okay, hacking's bad. Legit is like the purest of Pokemon, but you can still have it legal. No, like everyone's mixing everything up so they can try to justify their cheating in a children's game. So yeah, legal isn't nothing is fake. Well, the Pokemon itself is fake. It doesn't matter if the stats can exist through gameplay. The entire Pokemon is fake because it's modded and violates the rules in TS. Everything could have been gotten legitimately, except the Pokemon wasn't. And see, again, the legal legit, and then I know you've been seeing it more too, where people are calling like genned Pokemon legit, which even goes beyond like the Drifblim stupidity and this stupidity, because now it's just the encroachment of cheating and the over-justification of cheating and acceptance we've been seeing in competitive Pokemon. Just that you aren't the whims of RNG fate for that one ability patch you need. Again, admitting more advantage. If you get like super unlucky on the ability patch, you are extra disadvantaged against the cheater. So yeah, the whole Pokemon is fake, nothing legal about hacking, you can't legally break rules. And then, like, I've stated a fact. I have stated a fact of the rules, I've stated a fact of cheating being wrong, but no, I feel like you're missing everything entirely to be a rules lawyer. Rules lawyering does the opposite. Rules lawyering is where you're trying to find the cracks in the rules to exploit something, not follow them verbatim to just be like, no, I'm following the rules does not make you a rules lawyer. But that is how backwards these people have gotten, which like, good for you, but the game says it's illegal Pokemon. The rules. Just because you like hack something to get past it. Like, okay, so if I'm on steroids, but if I get past the drug test, that means I'm not on steroids anymore magically. Like, again, nothing makes sense. Pokemon isn't pulling off black magic stuff, then where is the issue in skipping a few hours mindless grinding? So now it went from 100 hours, wait, that sounds bad. That actually sounds like an advantage to just a few hours. It's all an advantage. Having any advantage is bad. Breaking the rules to gain an advantage is the literal definition of cheating. So I know I'm not losing, and then like just trying to be, then like we just get into all this anecdotal nonsense, never happened kind of examples. I know I'm not losing to a random in the ladder because they hacked a shiny Garchomp. I know I'm losing because I made bad plays and got punished for bad reads. No, like that isn't an example. That isn't reality to just make up this thing and be like, yes, I win or lose because I believe I deserved or did not deserve to win or lose. Therefore, your argument is wrong. Like just making fabrications up that are just outrageous. And then like, okay, so fight between someone with more practice and resources is completely balanced. Again, you have to always dodge the questions. I asked the simplest question. If there's no problem in cheating, or no problem with cheating in Pokemon, why does Wolfey lie? Wolfey has 100% caught. Confirmed cheater. Multiple times throughout his entire career in Pokemon. Over a decade of examples at this point. Why does Wolfey lie if there's nothing wrong with cheating? Oh wait, it breaks the rules. Oh wait, Wolfey himself said he could get in trouble if he's cheating. Even though he is, and then doesn't get in trouble because of all the corruption inside of Pokemon. So like, there's something wrong with it, guys. Why is Wolfey faking legitimacy in his content and all that other stuff? But then his audience will still defend cheating. Or it's one of those things where it's like, Wolfey doesn't cheat, but if he did, cheating isn't wrong, but Wolfey doesn't cheat, you're a liar, Verlisify. Like, it doesn't make sense. So I'm like, okay, if we have two players where one has more practice and the other one doesn't, is that a balanced fight? If I'm making poor plays because I have a bad read on what the opponent might do, then yes, it's fair. That's not what I said. If I have access to the same resources online, but that's not where we're playing this game. We're playing this game in the game, where if the opponent just cheats in and skips 50 hours of gameplay, that's it. If I haven't used the resources online, that's an issue on my part. Now it's like, and now we're just kind of even going further, where it's like, if you haven't done all the damage calculations, if you haven't played Pokemon Showdown, you're putting yourself at a disadvantage. Therefore, you're the reason why you lose, not the person that also cheated on top of utilizing those resources. So, in battle, experience is much more valuable than online resources. You can't read 100 hours of usage stats and damage calculations and be on the same level as someone with 100 hours in-game. Agreed. It should be over. It should be over right there. But the Pokemon VGC community is too toxic and stupid to understand how wrong they are. That's what I mean. Like, that's all I want. I just want conversations. I just want conversations with any rational person in the Pokemon community. But no, all the influencers are terrified of me because I will dismantle their arguments no matter who it is. If they defend cheating anyway, they automatically lose. And that's why they don't have me on, because I might expose their audience to the truth that they've been hiding for so long. That's why Wolfey blocks everyone that goes, yeah, man, you've already been confirmed cheater. Like, here's the mile-long CVS receipt of you cheating. And then, like, no, gotta suppress that. Can't let the truth get out in any capacity. Even though that's all, I just want that. I just want to have conversations. I just want to talk, man. I just want to talk and actually, like, find sanity inside of Pokemon for my own sanity at this point. That's why we go to Showdown and test our stuff before we spend a month. And even then, like, oh, wait. So if I go to Pokemon Showdown, I still have to spend a month crafting it in-game? But then that means the person cheating. It doesn't matter if he also did Pokemon Showdown. He skips that month. So that means he gets a month extra of Pokemon Showdown time to practice, which you said is why you go to Showdown, so you can offset the disadvantage and get the experience. With whatever. There's so many resources to help you improve. Ignoring them won't mean that a guy with hacked Pokemon wins. But utilizing the resources means you still lose to the hacker because they still have an objective advantage against you. And by the time you make it, the meta has shifted. People have hacked and practiced with 3 different teams to keep up. there's zero ignoring of resources. That's like the thing. Like, it doesn't matter about Pokemon Showdown. By the time you get into the game, that's also how you can tell, like, all these people, everyone in VGC is cheating. Everyone that just, like, unless there's, like, a stream of them making all their Pokemon, or, like, actual proof of them getting their Pokemon legitimately, they're all cheaters. And they all have, like, no argument against it, because they've never played the actual game. They have never made a competitive Pokemon in their life, or else they would not have this argument. Because yeah, like, if you've actually played it, it's like, okay, I go on the ladder with a team I kind of rushed, so maybe there's some sop in there. Maybe I'm tired because I just spent 10 hours straight making the competitive Pokemon team, so I'm also going to have, like, less efficient play and practice because I'm exhausted from all the work that went into making the team. But then, like, you go on it, you get slapped, and it's like, okay, let me go and take a few more hours over the next couple of days to make this team. You go on it, meta's completely changed. So now your adaptation has already been power crept and out-meted, and you're just always behind. You are always behind the meta because of even a few hours. Even once you've already, like, got your game settled and it just takes, like, 2 to 3 hours to get a competitive Pokemon team, well, by the time you've done that, like, somehow magic has happened and it's already changed. Or you take a nap, you go to sleep, you go to work, you come back, and the 2 to 3 hours automatically erased. Because that is the advantage cheating has. So, yeah, I'm not even, like, talking about ignoring resources. I'm saying you apply the resources, but you still have to do something in the game, and that is where the advantage happens. So there's huge ways of optimizing your time while grinding Showdown. We're not talking about grinding Showdown. We're talking about grinding the game to get the Pokemon to use at the regionals. No matter what, it is going to be inefficient. No, like, I can have Pokemon Showdown up on one screen, and I can be trying to multitask, but one, I'm making myself more exhausted, so my acquisition of Pokemon in-game is going to be slower, and my knowledge gained from practicing on Pokemon Showdown is going to be less effective. Like, there's no way. There's absolutely no way to offset it. At some point, you have to make the team in-game, where you lose time to hackers. You make that team close to regionals. So, you still have to make the team! Bro! You don't make one team at the start of regulation and then not adapt until you grind a new full set of 6. It doesn't matter. It's still going to take the days before regionals to prep, at which point someone's already hacked, like, 20 teams and tested and found, like, the meta or whatever is going to work for the regionals, and you have zero possibility of finding that because you're legit against someone that has infinite resources. Meta's still going to shift. And then, yeah, so we got that. But there's also, like, weird branching of these conversations as well. In older generations, where the game was significantly harder, I think cheating there is even more justified. So not negated by the lack of control. And this is where I was talking about earlier on the video, where it's all hypocrisy. That it used to be, well, it took too long to get Pokemon, so we have to cheat, or else it's impossible to play the game, which is a lie. Even going back to, like, Generation 4. It would take a lot of time. You couldn't get, like, perfect competitive Pokemon. You could still train and practice and, like, get stronger, better Pokemon through the in-game methods. And then if you had, you just had, like, an objective advantage because you couldn't get that. Same thing like Generation 5. But then Pokemon X and Y came out and gave incredible quality of life to getting legitimate Pokemon. And people are still saying, no, it still takes too long. So with all the quality of life increases over a decade, people are still saying, like, no, it's not good enough. But then when it becomes really quote-unquote quick, even though it still takes, again, dozens to over 100 hours, even in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, because you actually have to, like, beat the game and do Terra raids and get the resources and train the Pokemon, and Terra Shards just undo all the quality of life in the entire game. So, because of the weird mechanics, okay, it's, like, cool. People say, like, you can make a Pokemon in 10 minutes once you have everything. But now it's so quick, it's only 10 minutes, so that means the cheater isn't getting an advantage. So if you, unless it takes 1 minute in-game to get a competitive Pokemon, people are going to find a way to justify cheating. And probably even if it takes a minute to get a competitive Pokemon inside the games. I suggest I'm a Blissey stuff. Very interesting to watch. I'm a Blissey. I already debunked that fool. I've proven the dude just lies to cover for cheaters, that he doesn't show the full reality of what is going on. Because after his idiot video about, like, the RNG manipulation in Generation 6 to prove Wolf didn't cheat, he lied because Generation 6 RNG manipulation did not exist at the time. It was discovered years after the game, but he didn't say that for some reason, because he's covering for cheaters. He even says, there was no RNG manip in Generation 6's lifetime. then why don't you lead the video with that truth? It's right there. But again, the dude is like, that's what I mean. Like, this is what happens where we just get into this nonsense. Like, okay, older generations game was significantly harder. I mean, I have content of older generations of like getting competitive Pokemon, and I've been talking about my entire history of competitive Pokemon starting in Generation 4. So I know about all of that stuff. Also, there's still like the thing where even RNG manipulation was not legal. I talked to tournament officials, I emailed Pokemon support, and it was all, no, that's cheating, duh. And even then, like, most of the people that claimed RNG method, they just, what was it called, Pokecheck at the time? Because there's chat logs of Ray Rizzo saying, yeah, man, I missed Pokecheck back in Generation 5. And then just having full, shiny, legendary teams where it's like, okay, no, they're not, like, okay, and also that's another thing. If they're not going to spend the 10 hours to make a team now, why would they spend, like, the 100 hours to get to RNG manip, like, the perfect Pokemon? Or even, like, whatever, 40 hours per Pokemon to RNG manip. They just hacked them all, even back then. You can't even use RNG manipulation as an excuse because they weren't even doing that because it still was longer and more tedious than whatever for generation, like modern Pokemon, and people are cheating now more than ever. And just to make sure I'm not misrepresenting anything, you know, we have Blissy's video, 50 hours? And then we have this pinned comment. Prepping for regionals, nationals, worlds on top of keeping my high school grades up was exhausting. Dozens of hours RNG manipulating legendaries. No, that you're just a liar. You just hacked them in because again, like they won't even spend the time now for easier, more just like more relaxing, non-third party, because like that's another thing where you can even use this rule to say that RNG manipulation is against the rules because external devices, well, you actually need the RNG seed, and that is an external tool that violates the TOS because it says in the TOS you cannot reverse engineer the functions of the game. So you have to break the TOS to then get the RNG seed to use an external thing to then have an implication into your game because of the modified Pokemon. Then people will say like, oh, doesn't that mean damage calculators of Pokemon Showdown is third party, so everyone that's used that breaks this rule? No, because again, those programs are not putting Pokemon into your game. The use of the RNG software that was, again, gained by violating the TOS results in a Pokemon in your game. Also, it's just dozens of hours for RNGing the legendaries and then saying, like, regular breeding, like, didn't figure out Gen 5 breeding RNG at the time. So still taking, like, 100 hours to get the team without even, like, proper Gen 5 RNG breeding. Grinding BP, again, yeah, like, and that's why also hacking in items is such a big deal. That if you hack in like all the 6 items for a team, I mean that's another many hours saved compared to actually like getting BP, especially in the older games. Distinctly remember getting 2 hours of sleep the night before regionals because my friends and I were last minute grinding our teams, or the 3 hours of sleep before nationals because I accidentally left my life orb with a friend who didn't have Wi-Fi, all of that stuff. I share your opinion on hacking culture. The exhaustion and wasted time grinding. It's like, once again, like admitting it gives an advantage. We have it right here, but it's like, no, it's fine. And like exhaustion, people don't understand. It is, and that's how you also know like all these people are cheaters, that they don't know how tiring it is to get legitimate Pokemon, even in modern Pokemon games. That will hurt your practice. That will hurt your effort and motivation to actually continue. Time that could have been spent practicing. Wow, it's like an advantage. 100% makes me understand why people hack. Because we shouldn't spend dozens of hours just to begin play. Well, that's a lie, because like everything has barriers that you have to spend thousands of hours to be competitive in any sport or esport. Pokemon is no different. This is a part of it. It's in the rules. And here we just have a cheater defending cheaters, which is everyone. Like, since this person is a participant that has, I guess, skin in the game in some capacity, they can't admit to their cheating. But then, like, as you can see right here, there's no way, like, people were RNGing when it took longer than getting competitive Pokemon now. So yeah, what I just said was correct, and I had to bring out some extra receipts. And just kind of, again, showing how fraudulent Blissey and his supporters are. So, newer game, where it only takes a few hours to make a full competitive team, the thing of cheating, why does it matter? But, again, we've gone from hundreds of hours. We've gone from taking a month to just a few hours, therefore it doesn't matter. The hypocrisy, the contradiction, that's all VGC players know. That's all competitive Pokemon players know. Saving a few hours, it's just saving a few hours, which these top players already do by playing Showdown, instead of grinding the teams themselves. Again, where did this magical thing happen where by playing Pokemon Showdown, it legally, legitimately following the rules injects Pokemon into my Pokemon Scarlet and Violet game. Where's like the showdown league points that I can do to just get full competitive Pokemon inside Scarlet and Violet? That would have saved me so much time and frustration. Was this also happening in Generation 8? Did I just not have to play Pokemon Sword and Shield at all? And it's, again, not just a few hours, and assuming that's just one team for the entire season, which they said isn't going to happen. You don't get one team at the start of the regulation, wherever that was. So it's a few hours every event. So by the time you actually like make it to Worlds or something, like, oh yeah, you've also just saved hundreds of hours in team building. If it didn't give an advantage, people wouldn't cheat. Also, it's something like pretty simple. More cheating than ever, despite it taking less time. It's not even close to just a few hours. It's over 100 minimum. It just really isn't. Where was that? Instead of grinding out hundreds of hours for a new Pokemon EV spread, you just ginned it to skip the process. Whatever. I understand how efficient you can be, and then, like, again, the making a month for a team. You can whack out a competitive team in game in 3 days. Understand how to be efficient. You can't though. It's like, again, you have to play the game, and you have to also do those things. You have to put in the almost 100 hours of work to get to that point to where you're spitting out team, and even then, like 3 days. By that point, again, the meta has shifted, and anyone that's actually played legitimately has experienced that. Even hackers should be experiencing that because they have to hack their team not even every other day, multiple times a day. They have to hack in new Pokemon to keep up with the meta, which is only going to accelerate the meta even more. It's like every 10 minutes, meta shifts. As for why, why would you grind legit when it saves a few days of work instead of just getting to test your full team on the ladder? And like, are they trying to like shift, because they say like ladder, like in-game ladder, then they say showdown ladder saves a few days to play on the showdown ladder. You still have to do the work in the game. Like, their brain is broken. They are actually missing a part of their brain. That's the only way I can explain it. Like, I'm beyond, again, it's impossible to converse with these people. They are just too low and non-functioning on the IQ spectrum. You aren't breaking into your opponent's switch and randomizing the moves. You're speeding up a somewhat slow and speeding up, admitting that you're bypassing gameplay. Player A has 100 hours experience, 100 usable Pokemon. Player B has 10 hours experience, 10 usable Pokemon. Which has the advantage? A has more hours. But no player is making competitive teams to test on the ladder and just raw dogging it, then adapting it goes. Why can't they answer a simple question? I didn't say who has more hours. I said who has more of an advantage. Like, just tell me who has the advantage. Why can't you answer a simple question? Oh, because it debunks your entire argument. But I guess that's why we're here. Like, you can't argue with people this stupid. If they think cheating is wrong, there is nothing more you can tell them. There is nothing you can prove to them. No matter how good your argument is. I have like 5 just foolproof arguments. I have 5 unbreakable arguments, but it was already over at the first one. Whatever. And then, like, yeah, it just keeps on going. I wanted to even show more. I want to show more because this is my talk about how the meta shifts too fast. And then also, like, people change their teams, and we have that for, like, the Pokemon team breakdowns, especially going back to, like, 2016 Worlds, where everyone was cheating. Everyone was cheating there, and it kept on coming out where it was, like, Worlds top 32 used the Premier Ball Incineroar in Generation 7, but they were Worlds top 22 in 2016. So, all them hacking. Some other people ended up coming out where it's like, oh yeah, you look back, this person got caught hacking, you go back to previous events, World's finalists, World's top 16, World's something like that. So we were looking at the team sheets, and I think even like, I want to say it was a team sheet for the second place guy, where Jonathan Ever, wow, okay, my brain is routed at this point if you cannot tell, and I don't want to edit it because I actually somehow got 29 minutes of audio before making the first error, I hope. Yeah, Jonathan Evans, I'm pretty sure he did like a team write-up where he was like, I didn't like this Kyogre, so I just made a new one the day before. This was Generation 6. There were no bottle caps. You also, that means you have to like play through the game again, and then you also have to soft reset all that, and then people had like the weird balls. Like Kyogre, like Wolfglick's Kyogre was not in a Master Ball. It was in a, oh man, what was it, Dive Ball or something? So it's like, wait a second, that's actually like extra time on top of that. And there was no like widespread usage of the Ditto method for this Worlds kind of thing. and then talking about like 0 attack IVs and yeah, just like impossible Pokemon. All, like shiny, I don't remember if it was him that had the shiny Bronzong with 0 speed, etc, etc. They're all cheaters, and you just can't break through it, and then it's just like all fraudulent. You just can't escape, no matter how much proof you bring. I don't get it. Like, that should be the end of it, where it's just like, I have the argument that I've begged people to break. It can't be broken. No one does it. I prove everyone else is a liar or cheater. Done. Somehow we're still here. It's stupid. That's why I would do these videos, have these conversations. I show you what is going on, and I keep getting it out there, because if one person watches this video and goes, oh wait, Wolf's a cheater, I gotta unfollow him, or oh wow, VGC problem is bad, I'm gonna try to do something about it, that is a win, and that's the only way you get progress, by believing, or like by fighting for what you believe in. All these losers, they roll over and go, why are you doing this, Verlisify? Stop talking about it. You've been at it for how many years? Like, no, you don't give up on your convictions. But then, like, if you're cheating or defend cheating, you're already a loser. That's giving up on your convictions, and you're just, like, fucking worthless. So, I don't know. Hope you guys enjoy the video. Hope you all have a nice day. Thank you very much for watching.